All right, so after taking a little break from the Steelers Suck series, I'm back to work at it once again, and this video is going to be about how we have no locker room culture and how our players, need to be men. But first, let's talk about the locker room culture. So it's a number of things, right? And so the first thing I want to talk about is the bullshit that Dumlin enables. So this example right here in the picture is Juju Smith-Schuster and other players recording a TikTok of them doing a dance after our win over the Colts, and I believe it was week 16 of that season. And yeah, so like, so right there, I mean that's one example on how Dumlin has no control over the locker room, because the guy has never set any locker room culture to begin with, which is what a good coach does, and that's what especially Hall of Fame coaches do. Right, and then another example I can, of course, give is when we go back all the way to January 2017 after we beat Kansas City in the divisional round to advance to the AFC Championship into mental illness land. And Antonio Brown during that post game speech that Tomlin was giving to the players after we beat Kansas City in the divisional round. What does Antonio Brown do? He does a live Facebook stream, a Facebook Live, right? And then when everybody found out about that, that was where Terry Bradshaw called Dumlin a cheerleader, which by the way he's right about, and was right about the entire time. So yeah, Tomlin is a cheerleader, as Terry Bradshaw once said, after he heard about Antonio Brown's Facebook live stream. And this is these go to show that Tomlin, of course, has no discipline at all in the locker room. None. Because instead of being a head coach, he chooses to be a best friend. And it goes back to that video, I think it was part 4 in the series, where I talked about how Tomlin likes to hire his buddies and his best friends to the coaching staff rather than those that are qualified for the job. And I think early in the 2018 season, James Harrison spoke on this as well, about how he said that Tomlin needs to be more disciplined. Right, so I think that's pretty much all that needs to be said as far as Tomlin's lack of discipline and culture in the locker room. And if that wasn't bad enough, let's also talk about what do you call it? Oh yeah, because players over time with us over the past couple years, every time we suffer a bad loss, you sometimes hear about players calling out the coaching and the management for lack of accountability. Something I preach a lot about on this channel, because that's what this franchise needs, right? Because we do need accountability. We do. And when you see players expressing their frustration over Tomlin and the front office and ownership just not showing any accountability for anything, I mean it's like that is just that just goes to show you how much of a mess and just how non-existent our locker room culture is. And that's one of the biggest things that Tomlin has lacked since his coaching tenure began. Because when he started out with Bill Cowher's players, right? And those players, you see, they were able to keep that that great winning culture in the locker room alive. Tomlin had nothing to do with it. All he did was hide behind it. He wore it as a mask. Because he himself knew nothing about setting a culture, knew nothing about setting a tone for the players to go by. And you know how the saying goes. The players in the team are a reflection of their coach. And what you see now with how we seem to just not even try against legit contenders, which I talked about in the part 3 of this series, and how you even see commentators like Kirk Herbstreit calling out the lack of fight in the team, because these players are a reflection of Tomlin's lack of motivation, his lack of tone setting, his lack of discipline, his lack of culture, his lack of preparation, you name it. And that's one of several big reasons why this team is a complete mess and a complete just all-out clown show. But anyways, I think it's time to talk about how our players need to be men, and just how they like to bitch and whine about everything. Time to get into that next. And now let's start with Scam Hayward. Now I used to like this guy, but as of late I can't stand him, and I want him to just hang it up and retire already for a number of reasons. One of them is because this guy has always been a bitch. He always finds something to bitch and complain about. Like back in 2017, when the schedule came out, the guy had to just bitch and complain about how we're playing on Christmas for a second year in a row. And not only that, it's like the guy's always bitching about how he doesn't how he wasn't getting his contract into the front office, or should I say, just the two clowns that run everything, Tomlin and Art, chose to give it to him. The guy's always complaining about something on the schedule. Now I'm surprised he hasn't bitched and complained about our Week 5 bye yet. But I'm sure he will eventually. Why are we playing the day before Christmas? Why are we playing 5 days before Christmas? Shut the fuck up! Okay, seriously, just shut the fuck up and play football. Unless also talk about TJ Watt. The guy's always bitching and crying for a holding penalty. It's not just him. It's several of our players doing this too. Right, but it seems like Watt. The guy does it every other play. And I understand that he has been held a lot, but Jesus, it's like the guy just never stops bitching for a holding call to be called on the offensive line for somebody who's supposedly this dominant game wrecker. And then of course it's like the guy's always pouting on the sideline because he didn't get his sack and his leg kick celebration, even if it means that we're down 2 to 3 touchdowns mid-late fourth quarter. That's another bitch on this team. Oh, and Minka Fitzpatrick. This guy's got the nerve to blame the quarterbacks of the opposing team not throwing his way for why he hasn't done shit in years, and why he hasn't gotten an interception since the 2022 season, might I add. Yes, believe it or not, that is true. Minka has not gotten an interception since the 2022 season. But the guy bitches and complains about the quarterback not throwing the ball in his direction for why he hasn't done shit in a while. Yet, even when the quarterback does throw in his area, the guy doesn't make a play. You want to know why? Because guess what? When we traded for him back in 2019, when our haters were saying that his turnovers were lucky, I gotta say, all this has proven is shown that the haters were right about him all along. His turnovers, his pick sixes, and his scoop and score touchdowns were all flukes. And now that teams have adjusted to him, the guy is useless. And like, our players need to be men. I don't want crybaby bitches on this team. I want real men on this team. Because, like, if Scam Hayward, TJ Twat, and Stinka Fitzpatrick were in the locker room with any of Bill Cowher's players, either them or never mind Chuck Noll's players, right? If they did any of this bitching and whining, like guys like Lambert, guys like Mean Joe Green, guys like Greg Lloyd, guys like James Harrison, guys like Brett Kiesel, I'll even say players like Jason Gilden. I'll say guys like Jerome Bettis, Hines Ward, Alan Faneca, right? I mean, players like them, right? Like if Scam, Twat, or Stinka did any of that bitching and whining with those players in the locker room, I mean, number one, they probably get smacked across the face. They'd be grabbed by the collar and thrown against the locker room, and those players would teach those guys how to be real fucking men, right? And of course, Bill Cowher, he especially would not have put up with this bullshit. He wouldn't. But since we have a pussy ass head coach and a weak ass careless owner who doesn't give a damn about the team at all. Like they're just gonna keep enabling it. Where we're gonna see more crybabies come to this team. Nobody will get straightened out until Tomlin and Art are gone. But anyways, I think I'm gonna stop the video right there. Part 7 of the Steelers suck. I'm about halfway through the series. Not bad, I guess. But yeah, stay tuned for part 8. I'm out.